So let's talk about pursuing our goals and our dreams. So throughout our life, we all want to find that one thing that moves us, that drives us, that wakes us up in the morning, that keeps us up late at night, that basically we feel like we were meant to do that in our lives. We want to find that. Well, in order to find those things, we have to go in and kind of evaluate things that happen in our lives. So we may have a vision that comes to us maybe one time. Um, and unfortunately, if we don't pursue that at that point in time, we lose it. It may come back in a different form, but that specific version of it is now gone. And we may have things that come to us repeatedly. Same thing over and over again, whether it's in a song, whether it's a dream, whether it's a conversation that we have that one thing that moves us and that continues to be repetitive in our lives. My suggestion is find out what that actual item is. Go in and pursue it. Put some legwork behind it to go in and figure out what is this that moves me, because this may be what's actually driving you, that may keep you up late at night, that may wake you up in the morning, out of a deep sleep because you had some vision. Pursue that thing. Don't hold on to it and don't let it get away from you. Now, one thing that I also recommend is that when you do have those dreams or those visions, write them down. Write those things down. Now, for me, I know have had a lot of things come to me over the years. I've written some of them down. I've half pursued some of them just because they didn't actually maintain my interest long enough. So I don't think those were the things that were necessary for me to do. So I have gone throughout my life, had different experiences that I think has brought me to the point of me finding that one thing in my life. So let me back up a little bit and tell you a little bit about myself. So initially, once I graduated from college, I actually started in the engineering field. So in the engineering field, I got exposed to people on a normal basis, engineers, been having discussions with them and meetings about, the project that we were currently working on, the status of it, where I am and my part of that project. So the communication part, holding meetings and things like that. Also during that time, I also learned a 3D CAD system, which has allowed me, of course, to do that particular job. Now, as I got better on that CAD system, the company that I was working for wanted me to actually get certified and learn how to teach it. Great. That's a whole nother avenue. So one of the things that I really wanted to do was learn the CAD system as a whole, which that story is for another time. I actually have that summary of basically how I got to where I am, and that's part of that. But by learning that CAD system and then get certified to teach it, then that also now put me in front of people to go in and actually teach this. Now, I've been able to go in and travel across the entire continental United States. I think I've been to probably about 80% of the states in the continental United States. And I've actually been to Canada a couple of times for work. But it's been a great time. And what that has allowed me to do is allowed me to be able to go in and speak in front of people on the material that I'm confident about, the material that I know. So me standing in front of people hasn't been an issue for me in a long time. Yeah, you always get the jitters when you first start, but once you get started, it's over with. So that's been something that I've been able to do. Now, I've been doing this piece of my job, which is the teaching part of it, for over 20 years now. So I'm very confident standing in front of people. I don't have a problem with that. And then I also consider myself to be a people person. So by standing in front of people, you start to read people. You start to understand how people react to different things. I've also been able to figure out how to go in and keep people, keep their attention as I'm actually going in and teaching the material. So I do a lot of interaction type stuff as well. Now, on the flip side of that, or I should say in conjunction with that, with my professional career, I've also had some things in my personal life, or I should say even my spiritual life. So in my spiritual life, I've also dealt with a lot of youth. I've been dealing with youth since I was a youth. So I've been able to go through and talk with them. I've been a shoulder for them to come and talk to, because some youth don't want to talk to adults. They rather talk to somebody, that one of their peers, and actually express to them. Now, for me, I've always been kind of like a one-way street. Information comes in, but it doesn't go back out. So they've been able to go in and confide in me some things that I'll take to my grave. Which is one of the things that I pride myself on, is that basically people have had confidence telling me their stuff and not worrying about it going anywhere. So I've felt really good about that. So I've also once again grown a passion for the kids, for the youth as a whole. Once again, since I was a youth, so I've held like Saturday rap sessions where we've had discussions, open discussions. We've done Bible studies. We've gone through and had different outings. There's a bunch of different things that I've been able to do working with the youth. So actually being out in front of people and dealing with people, once again, adults being the actual instructing side of my career, as well as youth in my church and even just in a general community. I've dealt with a lot of youth. So bringing those things together, I've been trying to figure out in my life, what is it that I'm supposed to do? Well, in my life, like I said, I've had many things come to me. I've had people bring things to me, but none of the things have actually stuck. But I had this thing where, okay, maybe I can be a speaker, a public speaker. I can go in and talk to youth. I can go in and talk to adults. I don't have any problem either way talking to either one of those groups. So I said, I'm going to go in and pursue that. Well, the first thing that happened was that the doubt jumped in. So I'm like, okay, I'm not qualified. I don't have degrees in this. I don't have degrees in that. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. I'm not certified. All these negative things come in. But then I had some people that were placed in my life that actually reaffirmed that really you've been doing this the entire time. So I've actually had at a church event, actually, I've had a parent of some of the youth that were in my Bible studies and different events that I've done, and their kids are actually adults now, graduating from college, and they've actually unsolicited come to me and just thank me for the influence that I had on the kids, the discussion that we've had, because they've even discussed some of those things in the recent past. Some of the things that I've said in the past that have basically changed their lives. That's been great for me. I also had another adult that I've been dealing with actually have their child come to me to discuss some dreams and goals that they had. And once again, unsolicited. I was actually surprised when I actually got the invitation to basically have that conversation. That's been great. I've also had other youth come to me that were scared, or just don't want to say scared, nervous about going to college. So after we had our discussion, they told me how they felt. I told them about my experience in college, and they basically felt better after that. Same thing with adults. I mean, I've had conversations with different adults on different topics, but long story short, I've had some affirmations come to me as far as pursuing this goal. The other thing that really hit me was, once again, more on the spiritual side, was, and I've heard it multiple times. And what I've heard is that God equips the called, not necessarily calling the equipped. Now, I'm not saying he won't call anybody that's already equipped, but don't look at it as though you have to come into the situation already equipped for it. He will actually give you what you need in order to pursue that, if that's what you're supposed to do. So as I move forward, that's what I feel like, is that I've been called to do this. So that's why I'm discussing it right now, is because I feel like in my life, I can make a difference. I have made a difference. And I think at this point, I'm ready to make more of a difference. So what I'm actually saying with you is, yeah, this is what I felt like I've been called to do. As I said, take the things that you have in your mind, write them down. Share them. Now, when you do share them, at that point, you're now held accountable for what you're sharing. So what you want to make sure you do is, for lack of a better way to say it, don't overshare. Excuse me. Don't overshare. Don't share too much of the things that you're not actually going to pursue, because your one big thing could just simply become another thing for somebody else, because you share with them all these things that you said, oh, I think I should be doing this. And you've never done it. You've never pursued it. So you continue to tell this person over and over again all these different things that you felt that you were called to do, but you never actually pursue any of them. So what happens? You now become like the little boy that cried wolf, because now you just continue to say things over and over again and nobody believes you. So at this point in your thinking process, as you go through and start to cross off the things, now share with them only the things that you really feel that you're going to actually pursue. So when you have that one thing and you're very passionate about it and you go and you tell them about it, they don't just say, okay, just another thing from you. Now, if you do run into that situation, now it's up to you to prove to them that this one thing is your one thing. How do you do that? Is by actually pursuing it. You get out and you grind and you push and you press and you keep them up to date with your status. You let them know, hey, I'm doing this. and I'm moving forward on this, and I'm doing this, and hey, what do you think about this? You keep them engaged in that situation, and now your one thing doesn't just become another thing, it actually becomes something to them. So now they're actually taking interest in it. And now they're going to go through it and help you to pursue that a little bit more. So once again, keep in mind that you are going to have a lot of things as you're trying to figure out what it is that you're supposed to be doing. You're going to have a lot of things come to your mind. Weed out the stuff that you know you're not going to be able to do. What you'll also find is some of the things that you actually are writing down, some of those actually relate to one another. So this little piece over here and another piece over here all lead to kind of the same direction. So now you can start to pull those things together and now work in one particular direction. But as I said, the key to all of this is to go in and press forward. Now, as you're pressing forward, you're going to go in and have some days that you're not motivated. I've been there. You're going to have things that obstacles come in your way to say, well, maybe I wasn't supposed to do this. But maybe you were, and it's just simply pressing you forward. So you do have to press forward or push through that small little obstacle. Don't let little things stop you. Because when you do, then you'll never actually find what you're supposed to do. So when you do run into those obstacles, press forward. Don't stop, because more than likely, once you press forward, you'll see what the next level of that item is. And who knows, this may be your one thing. But on the flip side, it may not. But don't let that stop you. Check that off your list and go to the next item. Because you're going to find that one thing that's going to move you. Once again, it's going to keep you up late at night. It's going to wake you up early in the morning. It's going to drive you. And all you can think about is, how can I make this bigger? How can I make this better? But you have to go through and actually do that. You have to put forth that effort. And you can't let anyone or anything stop you from doing that. And the key to that is changing how you're thinking about it. You have to make sure that your mindset is set to press forward. So once again, do it. Don't hesitate. Write those things down, put some legs behind it, and make something happen. Ready, set, go.